Let's search for this thing called .env, and let's come inside this npm.js package .env. And if you come down again, it's a very popular package, as you can see. And let's just install this .env first, and we'll see how we can use it. So I'm going to open another terminal with Control Shift and 5, and I will run this command, and this will install our .env. And to use this, first of all, we need to come inside our index.ts, and here at the top, we are going to simply import this .env/config. And once we are going to import this .env config, what we can do, we can simply add this new file called .env. So this is going to be the file where we can store key and value pairs. For example, here you can add your JWT_secret, and this is going to be the secret, whatever thing that you want to use. So this is going to be a string value. And after this, what we can do to read this JWT secret or whatever value that we have inside our .env, we can come inside our application, and let me just log this to the console process.env. Let's just save this file, open our terminal. And here you can see we have a bunch of these things, okay? But with all these things, if you notice, we also have this JWT secret, okay? So all of these things that we have right here, this is the environment object, as you can see, and they are the default thing added by this Node.js, so we don't need to care about all these things. But as you can see here, we have this JWT secret. Again, if you have any extra thing right here, so if I just come here and if I add the verification_link, and this is going to be the link that we used here. So I'm going to come inside my controller, and let me first of all close this terminal, and here we should have a link. So this is going to be the link. So I'm just going to copy this part for now. Let's come here, and I'm going to add this right here. And as you can see, I'm not using any quotation mark. You can simply have your key and value pairs like this. And now if I just save the index.ts, it is going to restart my server. And here we have all these things. So this is going to be our JWT secret, and this is going to be our verification link. But now if I just comment out this .env part, there will be nothing. So you will have all the default things that we had earlier. But as you can see, we don't have the things that we have added, like this JWT secret and the verification link. So to use these things inside our application, we need to import this .env config. And why our application can't read these things from inside our environment variable? And the reason is that it is going to store inside the environment. This is not going to store inside our code. These things that we have right here, they are separate from our code. So they are not like the index.ts or auth controller or routes file. They are going to be our environment variables, which will be available only inside the environment where this application is going to run. Right now, the environment is this computer. So here we can add this .env file for this particular project. And in future, we will get the same kind of an environment variable inside the place where we are going to host this application. So at that point of time, we can add all these values to that environment. So long story short, this .env file, whatever that we have inside this .env file, this is going to be the separate thing than our application. And we need to have this .env config to read all the data from inside our environment variable. And because this environment variable is going to be separate from our application, what we can do, we can store all of the sensitive information inside this .env file. And whenever you are going to upload this to the GitHub, you are going to ignore this .env file, okay? You don't want to upload this .env file, which we will cover later. But if you are using GitHub and if you want to upload this to GitHub, make sure you have this .gitignore file and you have this .env inside here so that it can ignore this file. Because here we are going to store all the sensitive information. We don't want to upload all those sensitive information to the GitHub, okay? Now, let's just come inside our application, and this is going to give us the verification link. First of all, I'll remove this console log from here. Let's save this file, and I will come inside my controller, and wherever I'm using this link, I want to change these things. So here we want to have that verification link. So I'm going to remove this, and here I'm going to add this process.env.verification_link. And because we want to use the same thing in different place as well, what I like to do is I like to copy the same thing. I'm going to remove this process.env part. I will come up And here I'm going to create this new variable, verification link, and this is going to be that same process.env.verification link. Now wherever you are using your link, let's find out this link equal to. So this is the place where we are using this. Let's press enter, and this is the another place where we are using it. So I'm going to remove all of these things, and we are going to add this verification link right here. So in future, whenever you want to change your verification link, you are just going to change that inside your environment variable. And let's do the same thing for our JWT secret. So I'm going to simply come up and I'll create this new variable right here, and this is going to be JWT secret. And if you remember here, we are using this thing called secret like this. You can find all these things with Control or Command F. You can check if you are in the right place or not by pressing enter. And now if you click on this little arrow, it will give us the replace option as well. And here we are going to use this JWT secret. And here we have these two different options. If you go with the second one and hover over on this, and it will give you this pop-up like it is going to replace all of these things. So if I just click on this, it is going to remove all the previous value and it will add the new one. And also here we have this error, and the reason is if you come up and if you hover over on this JWT secret, this can be string or this is going to be undefined. So to fix it, you can simply add this exclamation mark at the end. This is going to give you that this is going to be a string. So this is just going to satisfy the TypeScript, but you need to provide your JWT secret inside your environment variable. Okay. And also because our environment variable is the place where we can store all the sensitive information. Here you can see we have the username and the password for our mail trap. What we can do, we can simply store them inside our environment variable. So let's come inside our environment variable. I'm going to call it mail trap user, and this is going to be our user. And also let's cut this thing out, password. I'm going to duplicate this, and this is going to be mail trap password, and we will change it with this one. Let's come here, and here we need to use our process.env.mailtrap_user, and this is going to be process.env.mailtrap_password. That's it. So that's how we are going to store all of the sensitive information inside our environment variable, and this is going to run separately from inside this application. And to read the value from inside this .env, we need to have this .env config inside our Node.js application.